In 1 second, the new iPhone 13 running a fully updated iOS 15 operating system was hacked, giving the attacker full access and control of the phone. In 1 second, you blink and it's over. What's up everyone and welcome. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the now famous 1 second hack of iOS 15 and the new iPhone 13.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
Ever since the Chinese government invoked regulations to prevent security researchers within China from taking part in international hacking competitions such as Point-to-Own, the annual Tianfu Cup held in Chengdu has been the place for the best hackers in China to demonstrate their collective prowess. The latest competition took place last month, and the newest iPhone, the iPhone 13 Pro, running the latest and fully patched version of iOS 15.0.2 to be precise, was hacked in record time twice. The Chengdu Lab team, whose CEO is actually formerly CTO of Qihoo 360, was able to hack the iPhone 13 Pro live on stage using a remote code execution exploit of the mobile Safari web browser, and he did so in just 15 seconds flat. Of course, months of preparation were likely involved in getting to this point, but the result was devastating and devastatingly fast. However, the full details of the vulnerability or the vulnerabilities exploited have yet to be revealed. The good news is that they have been reported to Apple for them to fix it. Chengdu Lab wasn't the only team to hack the iPhone 13 Pro, though. Team Pangu, which has a history of Apple device jailbreaking, cemented its reputation in this regard by claiming the top $300,000 cash reward for remotely jailbreaking a fully patched iPhone 13 Pro running iOS 15. So why did Pangu win? Well, the Chengdu Lab team took 15 seconds, while Pangu took just 1 second, as per report by Patently Apple. Pangu obtained the highest control of the iPhone 13 Pro. This means the hacker could access photos, access apps, and even delete data from the iPhone 13 Pro. The report said that the hacker was able to exploit multiple vulnerabilities in the iOS 15 kernel and the A15 chip to bypass the security levels in the new iPhone. While again the full detail of how this was achieved has not been made public, reports suggest it involved a one-click link triggering a remote code exploit that bypassed Safari security mechanisms. The not-so-good news is that there have been reports in the past of Chinese state actors using some of these exploits for espionage or surveillance purposes before patches can be released. Meep, meep. It should also be said that Apple products weren't the only target at the Tianfu Cup 2021 event. Security researchers also successfully launched exploits against Windows 10, Microsoft Exchange, and Google Chrome, among others. So, how do these types of attacks happen? Well, mobile Safari has had numerous vulnerabilities that allow remote code execution, including events in February or /March 2021 and September 2021, and events going back years like advisory from back in July 2015. Now, many, if not all, were related to the WebKit browser engine. The WebKit browser engine was developed by Apple for use in its Safari web browser. However, it's also used by Apple Mail, the App Store, and various apps on the macOS and iOS operating system. In the February /March 2021 case, the vulnerability stemmed from a memory corruption issue in WebKit. Now, this type of bug occurs when the contents of memory location are modified in a way that exceeds the intention of the original program language constructs, allowing attackers to execute arbitrary code. In the case of this specific flaw, if WebKit processes specifically crafted malicious web content, it could lead to successful exploitation, according to Apple. So you click on a link from a let's say a text message. It opens up Safari, brings you to a malicious website, which triggers this sort of infection. It's one way to do it. In a real-world attack, a remote attacker can create a specially crafted web page, like I just said, trick the victim into opening it, trigger the memory corruption, and execute arbitrary code on the target system. The September 2021 vulnerability, CVE 2021-30858, also affected WebKit and was triggered when the Apple device processes malicious crafted web content. That suggests attackers have been exploiting the vulnerability by circulating link to booby-trapped web pages. Again, same process, same situation, same type of exploit, only difference is when it happened.
Scoreless game. Save! No, a score as it gets past the Rats goalie.
So we can assume with a high degree of probability that at least one of these exploits was used was, again, a WebKit vulnerability based on malicious web content. So we can assume with a high degree of probability that at least the Kunlun exploit was based on a WebKit vulnerability triggered by malicious web code. Now, as for the remotely jailbreaking the iPhone, I'm really not 100% sure, but I could kind of imagine that maybe, you know, they used like a test flight app that doesn't have to go through Apple's sort of, you know, policies and approval process, which gave them elevated privileges on the phone as well as remote access, and allowed them to, you know, get into the kernel and maybe do something with the A15 chip, but I'm not exactly sure. So what can we actually learn from this? Well, in these instances, keeping your device up to date doesn't really help you, now does it? Because these are technically zero-day vulnerabilities. Apple doesn't even know about them. Now, if we think a little harder, we could say, well, malicious content is the key, and the Safari browser or WebKit is also the key. So we can, 1, make sure we do not click on unknown links that we get in emails or text messages on our phone. And 2, we can think about using a different browser on iOS. See, you know, simple little things can help us keep us safer. If I had to kind of pin it to a policy, let's say in a company, it would probably be that you don't click on links in emails or text messages on your phone. Especially, you know, if we can't determine 100% without a shadow of a doubt who it's actually coming from. But more of a blanket rule would be you just don't click on any links at all within the phone. You transition to your laptop or desktop. So, with that, I say thanks for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.